At age 19, Anthony ONeal was in deep debt and short on hope, with no direction where his life was headed. It was here, at rock bottom, living in his car, that he turned his life around. Anthony is now a #1 best-selling author, speaker, financial expert, and host of the popular YouTube series called The Table with Anthony ONeal. He's passionate about reaching people in a real, relatable, and relevant way and helping them get a clear vision for their future based on biblical principles so they can win in their life and finances. Let's welcome Anthony ONeal.
Woo! Yeah. Man. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father God, we thank you for another day, another evening to come and fellowship with our peers. It's 5 o'clock in the evening. It's been a long Sunday. So God, tell this preacher to hurry up so we can go home. But hurry up with the good words so we can learn more about our money. We can learn more how to be good stewards, learn how to build wealth, learn how to impact our communities. So God, speak through me, your son, so I can speak to my brothers and my sisters, and we can go home and have something good to eat. God, we love you. In the name of Jesus Christ, we all pray and we all say, amen, 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 amen. Yes. Yo, so it was about, I'm getting old. So I'm 37, so I don't know. It was 2003, graduated from high school from Fayetteville, North Carolina, from the best high school on the planet, Southview High School, right? And I grew up in the Church of God in Christ Church. Anyone ever heard of Church of God in Christ? Anyone know about it? You know what I'm saying? Anyone ever been a part of it? Okay, cool, great. That's good. Stay right here at this church. Oh, Jesus. Because at the Church of God in Christ, COGIC, that's what they call it, COGIC to be short, we're in church every single day, not just on Sundays at 5 o'clock. No, every single day. I mean, Mondays, we're in church. Don't know why. Tuesdays, it's usher practice day. I got to practice sitting people down. Come here, have a seat. Why do I got to practice that? Wednesday, Bible study. Thursday, choir practice. Friday night, joy night. What's joyful about going to church on a Friday night? I'm supposed to be out with the homies, you know what I'm saying, taking her out to the movies. And I'm at the church, thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. I don't want to be here. Saturdays, we evangelizing, which I was so confused because back when I was a little kid, my mom and dad always said, don't talk to strangers, but you want me to talk to them on Saturdays? Sundays, we in church 2 times. Now, it's not you can choose which service. No, you got to go to both services. Don't go to the first one and skip out on the second one. The pastor will be calling you. Where were you at the second service? Go home, eat dinner, a.k.a. lunch at 2 o'clock, take a nap, go back to church for 7 o'clock. Be in there till 9:30, 10 o'clock, then go back home. And then Monday morning starts all over again. School, church, school, church, school, church. So can you only imagine what happened when I graduated high school? This is a young service, so I can say this here because I couldn't say this at the other services. They would have been laughing at me. When I was laughing, they would have been upset with me, and they would have told the pastor, don't bring him back here. Because I'm going to give y'all the truth. When I walked on and I graduated high school, y'all, never been on a date, never kissed a woman in my life, never hugged a woman in my life. When I went to prom, I only could go there for 1 hour. Started at 7, I was in my dad's SUV at 7:55. So when I graduated high school, I went off to college. As soon as I walked onto the college campus, no lie, this is my face. What's up, girl? What's your name? And she was like, hey, you know what I'm saying, my name. I was like, oh, girl, I like that. She said, what's your name? I said, girl, my name's Anthony. She was like, ooh, Antonio. I was like, ooh, say that again. She was like, Antonio. I was like, she was like, oh, okay. She said, if you act right, I'm going to call you Papi. I was like, ah! And so literally, I'm like, okay, cool. So she looked at me. She was like, yo, you look kind of broke-o. And I was like, I ain't broke. I got $5 in my back pocket, girl. We can go to Burger King. You can have it your way. You know what I'm saying? She was like, nah, baby. I need some money. I was like, okay, girl, I got you. I'm coming for you. And so literally going off to class, true story, go off to class. And this guy jumps out in front of me, gives me a credit card application, tells me if I fill it out, he'll give me 2 free large pizzas and 1 free t-shirt. I did just that, and it was the most expensive pizza I've ever paid for in my entire life. To fast forward through this story, because I really want to make sure that I give you all some practical word that will help you with your finances, that will help you with your life, that will help you improve and really accomplish everything God has for you. Within a matter of 6 months of me graduating high school, I'm $35,000 in debt. $15,000 in credit card debt, $10,000 in furniture debt. I had all the leather couches. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know about the leather couches, because the leather couches back in the days, you were sweating on the couch. Nasty. Then another $10,000 in student loans when I didn't even need them. I had a partial ride scholarship for the NFL, the National Forensics League. Okay, I'm too short to be running football. All right, and then my father's GI Bill, because he served in the Army, and I was able to get a portion of that. I made some horrible decisions in high school, trying to impress people, trying to blend in with the culture, trying to be this cool, hip, young guy, trying to be accepted by the ladies, that I made a bad decision in college, and unfortunately had to drop out. When I dropped out, I lost my job, and I lost my job, lost my income to pay my bills. When I lost my bills, I thought I was going home, but my mom and dad told me, no, son, you thought you were a grown man, and grown men do not come home. So you go deal with your problems yourself. So at the age of 19, I'm homeless, sleeping in the back of my car. Every brother who I called a brother, a frat brother of mine, no one was there to pick up the phone call. Every young lady that I spent money on, the young lady that I spent almost $1,000 on, bought her a Dooney and Burt's purse, took her to Red Lobster, sent her some flowers. She didn't even pick up my phone call to even let me just come out and get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You see, when I was on top, they all wanted me. When I dropped to the bottom, no one was around me. Now I'm in the back of my car, homeless, questioning my relationship with Jesus Christ, contemplating about committing suicide, taking baths at the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I'm bathing myself in the back of my car because I want to make sure that I'm still clean and fresh. I'll never forget the last night I'm washing myself. I accidentally see myself in the back in the rearview mirror with soap suds from here all the way down, and I started crying. I started getting emotional. And I said, God, if you get me out of the back of this car, I'll never come back here again. I can't be perfect and I won't be perfect, but I guarantee this much, I will be a better steward with my money. That night, I gave my life back to Christ. Second thing, I went back home and I told my parents, I'm sorry, I'm ready to become a grown man. I'm not there yet. My dad gave me a Dave Ramsey budget form. I got on that budget. I got a job. I worked hard. I got out of debt. Today I stand before you, 37 years old, no debt, driving my dream car, driving my dream home, and doing what I love to do, doing what I've been called to do, which is help people avoid debt, help people understand and identify what is success for them, and then identify why and how did God make you to impact this earth. And I believe when it comes to our money, that is a crucial thing. So today, I want to give us some practical things. I'm going to the word here today because, you know, I'm young, I'm hip, but I'm still a little old school. You know, like I said, Kojic is still in me, so I got to have my Bible wherever I go. I got to have my sword. You know, I can't do the iPad and the iPhones and be preaching from it. Now I need to feel all this good leather right here. You know, this right here worth more than Gucci. Anyways. Matthew chapter 14. Matthew chapter 14. I'm going to go to verse 23. This is a familiar story. Some people don't use this with money, but I got you today. I'm going to show you something that is really good. Matthew chapter 14, verse 23. I'm reading from the NIV version. It says, after he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. This is Jesus. Later that night, he was there alone. And the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves, because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. Pause. If you see Jesus walking on water, if you see a man walking on water, what you thinking? I ain't thinking it's Jesus. I'm thinking it's a ghost. Exactly what these brothers said. They said, yo, when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost. They said and cried out in fear. I'm in fear too. I'm human. Let someone come over here and walk on this air. Or I'm out the back door. But Jesus immediately said to them, take courage. Courage it is. Don't be afraid. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on water. Pause. When I get to heaven, I got 2 appointments. Jesus, then Peter. Peter, I know this is gone. This was not around when you was around, but were you on some kind of weed back then in them days? You said, if it's you, tell me to come out on water. Were you okay? I mean, because if Jesus was here, I'm like, what you mean? Come to me. I ain't coming out there. Come to me. But I want you to pay attention to this. Jesus immediately said to them, take courage. Said, talked. Take courage. Don't be afraid. Lord, if it's you, Peter said, talk to me and tell me to come to you on water. Jesus replied and said, come. Jesus talked and said, come. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. For the next 20 minutes, I promise you we will not be here too much longer. Because I got a straight word from you, for you, not from you, for you, that I promise you we're going to get up out of here. Tonight's topic is simple. Walk it like he talked it. Walk it like Jesus talked it. You see, the problem with this generation I see is that we tend to walk the way we want to walk. We walk the way we see culture is doing things. We walk and do things that we see our peers are doing things. We walk and we do things to please others, but we're not walking the talk that Jesus left for us. He gave us the guidance here on how to walk our life. He gave us guidance on how to be popular, how to be cool, how to be accepted, how to be an influencer, how to be a good steward of our finances. But the problem is we don't want to live by the word. We want to live by what the culture is saying. And today I want to challenge us to change. Scripture says, God talked and said, take courage. Courage means you have to step outside of your comfort zone. If you're taking any notes, I want you to write this down. Be willing to be uncomfortable. If you're going to change anything when it comes to your finances, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. True story. It's kind of nasty, but I'm kind of like remix it for you all to make it not as nasty. But follow me on this story. High school, junior year, 2001, all right? So it's 2000 and 2001. This was legal back then. It's not legal no more, okay? We didn't dissect frogs. We boiled frogs. Bear with me. Teacher brings us a pot, brings us a frog, puts the frog inside the pot. She says, no matter what you do, son, do not go from 0 to 10. I'm like, all right, this is going to be so weird, teach. The whole class is laughing and having fun with this. This is so weird. I was taught to love everyone, including animals. So we go from 0 to 2, the frog is jumping around. We go from 2 to 4, the frog is jumping around. We go from 4 to 6, we go to the front of the class and we start learning things about frogs. We go back to our workstation, the frog went from jumping around to now chilling. We go from 6 to 8, we go back to the front of the class, we watch another film about frogs and animals and how they adapt to weather and stuff like that. And we go back to our workstation and the frog is asleep. We go from 8 to 10, we boil the frog. I raised my hand because I'm emotional. I'm like, what in the world just happened? And she says, Anthony, if you know anything about frogs, frogs get comfortable in the heat. Fast forward 2 years later, I'm in the back of my car, and God says, Anthony, you've become the frog. I said, I am not asleep. I'm wide awake. He said, no, son, the frog didn't die in its sleep. The frog died in its comfort zone. Young people, I want you to write this down and hear me clearly. If you're really going to take control of your finances and take control of your life, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. What do I mean? Don't allow your comfort zone to become your kill zone. Don't allow the very same thing that is so comfortable be the very same thing that kills your dreams, that kills your purpose, that kills your calling, that kills your opportunities, that kills your marriages. Don't allow that to kill your dreams. It was easy for me to swipe up the credit cards. It's easy. Easy. It's comfortable. It's easy to tell my friends yes. It's easy to tell my homeboys, yeah, we can go over here. It's easy for me to tell people yes. It's hard to tell them no. But let me tell you what's harder, to tell yourself no. It's hard to tell yourself, I can't not do that. Why? Because that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Easy to say yes. Hard to say no. It was easy for me to tell her, yes, I'll buy her that Dooney and Burke's purse when I was broke because I wanted to impress her. It was hard to say, no, I can't because I can't afford it. I didn't want to be laughed at. I didn't want to be a clown. I didn't want her to call me cheap and broke-o. It was easy. Got to be willing to be uncomfortable. Don't allow your comfort zone to become your kill zone. Today, I'm going to give you some wisdom and knowledge on how do we deal with our finances? How do we become successful? How do we really build true and lasting wealth? The very first thing is you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. The next 5 things that I gave the church this morning, I'm going to give y'all here today. These are going to stretch you, especially us in this younger generation. Here's number 2. Number 1, you got to be uncomfortable. Got to be willing to be uncomfortable. And here's number 2, get a job. Seriously, go get you a job. Go get you a side hustle. Everybody in this generation, this younger generation, we all want to be entrepreneurs. You want to be an entrepreneur, but you haven't really served anyone. You haven't really served at a job, but yet you want to run a business? How are you going to maintain and teach someone how to be a good employee if you've never been a good employee? How? How do you expect God to trust you with employees when he couldn't trust you to be an employee? How do you expect God to bless you with this amazing business when you couldn't help somebody else grow their business? I was on the radio show with Dave a year or so ago, and a guy called in, young guy. He was like 26 years old, just got engaged, and he said, this is what he said, I need some help getting some money. I said, okay, cool, talk to me. I said, what do you do right now? He says, man, I work for Sony. I said, cool, what do you do for Sony? I play the PlayStation. I said, okay, wait. You must go in and you like try out the new games and make sure every character's working right. You know what I'm saying? Is that what you do? He was like, nah, man, I be chilling at the house. And I just play games and I bet people that I could beat them. And then I send in my reviews to Sony. And I was like, and you just got engaged? He was like, yeah. And my wife is the one who said, my future wife said, you need to go get a job. I said, you know what? I'm on the phone with the wrong person. I need to be on the phone with her because she the fool for saying yes to you. And I'm like, yo, son, the problem is not you don't have the capabilities. The problem is you don't want to get up off your feet and go put in the work. The Bible says, if you don't work, you don't eat. Go get a job. And if you're struggling financially, go get you another job. Or, here's another thing, some of us have gifts and talents that we're just sitting on because we don't want to leave that comfort zone. We're scared. I got a good job. It's giving me good benefits. I don't want to leave. I don't want to step out on faith. I don't want to go into the faith zone because if I go in the faith zone, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. So I'm going to stay over here in the comfort zone, let them pay all my bills. And God, I know you fearfully and wonderfully made me. I know you gave me all these gifts and talents, but no, God, over here, I'm safe. But God is saying, do you want to pay your bills or do you want to live your life free? $50,000 a year? Great. What if God put $1 million a year in you and you're scared to leave your comfort zone? You're scared to use your gifts and your talents. Step out of your comfort zone, step into your faith zone, be faithful, be loyal at your career path while you're building something on the side. Earn it. Go get a job. Here's number 3. It's going to be very uncomfortable, number 3. It's going to be very uncomfortable. Give it away. Give it. When you get paid, give God his 10%. That's the secret to building wealth. I'm not going to live in this long. You guys already know this principle. Some of the most wealthiest people that I have had the opportunity to meet, they give so much. God can do more with my 10% than I can do with my 100%. This giving 10% has nothing to do with this church, has nothing to do with the sanctuary, has nothing to do with nothing. The 10% is for you. The 10% is to show God that he can trust you with what he's giving you. That's what it's for. It's not for the church. God is going to take care of this building. He's going to take care of this community. The 10% is for you and I. I want God to trust me and to take care of me. I love my Lord. He's the head of my life. But we have a dope relationship. When I'm in the shower, see, some of y'all be singing in the shower. Me, I talk to the Lord in the shower. Yo, God, what's good? You good, bro? Listen here. I told my pastor I want to be the #1 giver in the church. I want to give $1 million. So if I give $1 million, that means I need 10 million. I mean, if you want me to give more, you want me to give 2 mil? Okay, if 2 million, that's 20 million. Like for real, I want to be a cheerful giver. $2 million, I'll gladly give the church $2 million if I got 18 sitting in the crib. What? 200,000, 20,000 here. I don't care, because you know why? The more I give to me, that's the more God is giving me. And the reason why some of us are broke is not because we don't have the capabilities of making more money. We have the money coming in. We don't want to trust God with his 10%. We don't want to activate the faith zone, so we sit at home with the 100% and it's going through our pockets, AKA we got holes in our bags. And I refuse to have holes in my bags. And I ain't patching up my bags. You know why? God gave me the bag. So if God gave me the bag, it's a good bag. I got to take care of that bag. And the first person that I'm giving money to is him. I don't pay no rent. I don't pay the electricity company. I definitely don't pay the IRS before my God. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Some of y'all got to from the W-2s, but Lord Jesus, not me. I'm like, no, you can get paid last. I pay you right at the last day, at the last hour. But God get his as soon as I get up. Ding, boom, cheerfully giving. Yo, God, I just gave you some. I'm serious. Give it. Don't be selfish with it. Once you give it, you got to manage it. You have to manage your money well. If I'm going to be honest, young people in our age bracket, we don't manage our money well. Let's just be real. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. I'm not going to ask you to look at your neighbor, because some of y'all here with your boyfriends, with your girlfriends, and they'll need to know that you ain't good at managing your money. All right? I'm going to help you out today. When it comes to managing your money, you got to have a vision for your money. You got to live below your means. You have to avoid debt, and you got to budget. Bottom line. How we build wealth is by margin. We don't build wealth by living paycheck to paycheck. We build wealth by creating margin. We create margin by living below our means. We create margin by having a budget and telling our money what to do and not wondering where it went. Aren't you tired of working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, putting in all this labor so that on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're giving it the fruit of your labor to someone else? The club, Gucci, Louis, Red Bottoms, Wells Fargo, Citibank, all these other people, you're building their families, you're building their destinies. I really want you to think about this. I even said this morning in the service, but I really want you to think about it. Wells Fargo, a family's last name. Gucci, family's last name. See where I'm going with this? You're working hard, your last name, to go give a family wealth and coming back to you and your family broke. Your family, yourself, should be the first fruit of your labor. Then, of course, we got to pay our bills. But not the other way around. How do we do that? First up, got to have a budget. got to have a budget. I want you to write this down. I'm going to go a little bit more practical in this area for you all because I really want to help you all get this. Got to have a budget. Do a zero-based budget. Zero-based budget simply means you list all your income minus your expenses and it equals zero. And when you have a budget, this is a vision for your money. Check this out. When you have a budget, stick to the budget. Brothers, look at me. The ladies are not about to like me right now. Okay? Brothers, look at me. Stick to your budget. I don't care if she comes to you and say, baby, can we go over here? Tell her no, it's not in the budget. And ladies, if he says no, that's the brother you need to let marry you. I like how you just kissed him on the face. I like that. She was like, yeah, you tell me no, baby. I like her. I like him too. He leaned up in the back chair like, yeah, that's right. I tell you no all the time. I said no like a year ago. I went viral on the video and, took this young lady out on a date. She was beautiful. Picture her, had them red bottoms on. She was a nice little dress. I was like, God is really good. She gets in the car. I'm like, ooh, you smell good. Walked into the restaurant. I said, my Lord, you are kind to me this evening. We had a great time at the restaurant. Took her back home. She texted me like 2 days later. Y'all, she had the nerve to text me. Hey, Ayo, a man of your caliber should have took me to a better restaurant than what you did a couple of days ago. I said, did you even see the bill? A bill was like $300. What you mean? You didn't even deserve $300. She went on to say, when we go out again, can you take me to this one particular restaurant? When I saw the restaurant, it's $250 per plate, $500 meal. I looked at my budget. I didn't have it in my budget. So I responded, hey, Queen. Unfortunately, that's not in my budget this month. But if we're still dating next month, I will consider putting it inside of the budget. So when you got the iPhone and when you type it, you see the ... So I saw the ... 2 hours later, I still see the ... No response. I called her. She didn't pick up the phone. The next day, I called her. She didn't pick up the phone. Your girl ghosted your boy. 2 months later, I'm on the Tamron Hall show, a national TV show that comes on live every single day, right? And so when I get off of the show, my publicist at the time hands me my phone and she says, hey, somebody's been hitting you up. I look at my phone. Guess who it is? I pick up the phone. Hey, cutie, you look real good on the Tamron Hall show with that red on. Boy, you look so fine. What's up with that second date? I said, okay. I pick up my phone. I just start typing anything. I want her to see the ... I'm just typing away. I'm just going as long as I can until my hands get tired. Then I delete it all, put it up, and I ghosted her. That's not God. That was all my flesh. I'm going to be real with you. But here's the thing. The reason why I did that is because God convicted me a year ago, and he said, Anthony, as the money guy, here's your flaw. You focus on impressing ladies rather than being impactful. He said, do not get to your wife. Do not get to your best thing. Do not get to the favor that I sent in your life, and you have to tell your best thing, your wife, no, because you told all your girlfriends yes. And I said, good God, what in the world? I said, okay, God, okay, I'm sorry. And so now I don't have a problem saying, no, I can't. It's not in my budget. I'm sorry. Because the right woman will see that's impactful. You see, you can be impressive and not be impactful, but you can be impactful and be impressive to the right one. So for me, I solely focus on managing and stewarding my money well. And anybody that comes into my life understands Anthony is not broke, but he is wise with his money and he manages his money well. Do you know why? Because I have a vision for my life. I have a vision for where I want to go. What's my vision? I came into this world crying out of my mother's womb, and I'm going to leave this world smiling because I'm going to look up at my family, at my wife, at my kids, at my grandkids, and I know that I took them to Israel. I know that I'm leaving them with wealth. I know that I'm leaving them with knowledge, with joy, with peace, with no pain. That's the vision for my life. So if you can't help me get to the vision, then you can't be in my life. If you distract me from getting to my vision or even slow me down a little bit, then you cannot be in my life. When I get married, I'm going to upgrade my vision. Me and my wife are going to have vision meetings quarterly. Because I want to make sure that we both know where we're going. So this way, when we have disagreements, they're not arguments, because the question is going to be, okay, babe, does that get us to our vision or does it take us off of our vision? If it takes us off, then we can't do it. So that's not me saying no. That's not her saying no. It's us saying no because we both agreed to that vision. And even as a single person, I sat down with an accountability partner. This is my vision. This is where I want to go. Every time I come to him about, this is what I want to do in my life. This is where I'm going. I want to go buy this. I want to go do that. Okay, cool. His first question is, does that get you closer to your vision? And sometimes he doesn't have to tell me no. I'll just be like, goodbye. I don't want to talk to you. Because I answered my own question. How do you manage your money? You manage your money by having a clear vision for where you want to go. Once you have a clear vision, you got to get on a budget, AKA vision for your money. The two have to be congruent, working hand in hand. You want to pay off debt? Cool. Does your budget show that you want to pay off debt? You want to build a house? Cool. Does your budget show that you're saving to build a house? The two got to work hand in hand. Once you have a clear vision for your life and a clear budget, then boom, you live below your means. Don't max out everything. And you got to pay off your debt. The borrower is slave to the lender. It bothers me when I hear people say this. Oh my God, go get your credit score. You need an 850 credit score so you can go out here and do this. No, man, listen, man, let me tell you something. I don't do credit and I live in my house. I don't. Because when I die, I can't pass down my credit score. When I die, I can't look at my kids and say, hey, you know what? I ain't leave you without you, but you know what? I think you can go over to Citibank and get my airline miles. You know what? I got some reward points over some one of my cars. I got like 20 of them. Get the reward points. That ain't building wealth. I've never met a millionaire that said, hey, I'm building wealth off of my reward points. No, I want to make sure that when I pass, that I am leaving my kids with wealth, not with debt, not with bondage, but with wealth and options. You got to manage it. Once you manage it, you got to multiply it. Multiply it. Listen, multiply it. I don't have the graphic with me, and I really wish, I really wish I had it, but I really want to show you all and give you all this example. When I say multiply it, you all in this room, especially this younger generation, you are in a position to where if you listen to what I'm saying, if you go out of here today and not sacrifice, because some of y'all can spend $50 tonight at dinner. If you can go out there and just drop $50, you're going to thank this church 4 years from now because you started building true wealth. Why? Because we're going to show you how to eliminate your debt and start multiplying your money. Start building wealth at a young age. If you start just putting $100 in your bank account at the age of 20, and you just do that every single month into like a Roth IRA or into your 401k, you do that from the age 20 right to about the age of 45, 50 years old, you will have $1.2 million if it is a 12% return. I was looking at my math last night when I got home. My average return last year on my 401k was 30%. Wow. That was my interest rate, 30%. There it is right there. Oh, thank you so much. Man, I love this church, man. I just love this church. So listen, let me break this thing down for you. Ben starts at 19. He was like, yo, I came to Black Rock Church, saw this young, cool black brother. He had his ankles out. You know what I'm saying? Chilling, smooth guy. He was loud, you know what I'm saying? But at the age of, and so I said, you know what? He said, just invest, $100 a month. I gave a little bit more. So I put in $2,000 every single year at the age of 19. Well, Arthur came and said, I don't like his style. He's ugly. And he don't know what he's talking about. So I ain't listening to nobody who can't dress. Look at his pants. They're high waters, And so I ain't listening to him. But at 27, Arthur saw that Ben had $27,000 in his account. He said, well, wait, that's a lot of money. I better start investing too. So Ben starts at 19, and Ben gets a family. Ben says, I don't want to invest no more. So he stopped investing. Then Arthur says, you know what? I'm going to invest $2,000 for the rest of my life into this one is into a Roth IRA, right? Roth IRA. So I'm going to ask a question. Who do y'all think had more money? Ben? If you think it was Ben, who never invested a day in his life after 26 years old, who had the most money? You think Ben did? Raise your hand. Cool, hands down. If you think Arthur did, who invested for the next 40 years, $2,000 and got the compound interest. If you think Arthur had the most money, raise your hand. Don't be scared. Okay, cool. You're wrong, I'm sorry. Ben had the most money, $2.2 million. Why? Because he started early. You are young, but check this out. Arthur with 1.5? This is good money. 1.5 is better than nothing. 2.2, that's great. But I want you to really think about it. That's $2.2 million off of $100 a month. I suggest when you multiply, put 15% of your income into investments. If you put 15% of your income, this goes from $2.2 million to about $5 million by the time you retire, just off of investments, not off of side hustles that you may do, not off of real estate that you may get into, not off of anything else that you may invest into and grow into. This is just $5 million off of a Roth IRA, not your 401k. Not none of that, just your Roth IRA if you start early. The key thing here is at your age right now, I'm dropping $50 into Financial Peace University and I'm learning how to get here. I'm not putting $50 into a date no more. I'm putting $50 into myself because I am the greatest investment that I can invest into. It's going to be uncomfortable. That requires discipline. But look at what discipline pays off in the long run. Multiply it. So I want you to write this down. When you 401ks, what I want you to do is look for a match first, Roth next, traditional, boom. Match, Roth, traditional. The difference between a traditional and a Roth is traditional is pre-tax. So you don't pay taxes when they take it out. You pay taxes when you take it out whenever you get ready to retire. That means, let's say for an example, let's say you're making $40,000 a year right now or $50,000 a year right now, right? Let's say by the time you turn 65, you're making $1 million a year. Here's a downfall about this one. You got to pay taxes at your tax bracket. Roth, you already paid the taxes at your tax bracket now. So the money that you gain from the compound interest, you don't pay taxes on that. So if you're making $1 million, you don't pay taxes in that tax bracket. Which is why if you have a match Roth 401k, take advantage of it. If you have a Roth 401k, take advantage of it. If you have a traditional 401k only, take advantage of it because that's still compound interest. Then look into if you don't have none of that. If you don't have a job, if you're driving for Uber, if you're driving for Lyft, if you're in college, then what I want you to do is invest into a Roth IRA. You get the same kind of stuff when it comes to your 401ks, but it's good investment. Multiply it. Here's the last thing once you multiply it. And I'm done. I told you. I'm 7 minutes over. I'm sorry. Here's the last thing. Enjoy it. Once you create the foundation that you can stand on, remember, you're standing on God's word. God is telling you to work. If you don't work, you don't eat. God is telling us to be a good steward of our finances. He spoke it. He said it. He wants us to multiply it. God also wants us to enjoy it. God also wants us to look good. God also wants us to represent the kingdom in a good way. He doesn't want us to look boring and he doesn't want his children to look miserable and to be miserable. No. What God really wants is for us to make sure that we are good stewards of it. And as long as we are good stewards of it, enjoy it. Don't get it twisted. Your boy will be buying a Bentley here in the next 3 to 5 years. And when I step outside the Bentley and they ask me what's my name, I'm going to tell them this, man of God. You know what I'm saying? Because I am a man of God stepping outside of a nice car. I'm going to preach and teach the word of God stepping out of a Bentley. Yes, ma'am. How you doing? Yes. Yes. What kind of car is that? A man of God's car. There's nothing wrong with representing the kingdom in a nice, stylish way. You represent the kingdom the way you want to represent it. Just make sure that what you're representing, that is what you want and you are at your core. If you don't want a Bentley, you want to drive a Honda, perfect. If you're the kind of person, I care about experiences more than I care about material things, great, do it. Be you, enjoy you. God created you. He wants to give us the desires of our hearts, as long as the desires of our hearts doesn't represent the kingdom in the wrong way. As long as the desires of our heart do not become false gods. As long as the desires of our hearts doesn't get in the way of us accomplishing our God-given dreams, purpose, and assignment. Finances are the #1 reason for divorces. How many of you are married in here? Raise your hand. Love it. Okay, got a bunch of single people in here. I feel you. Y'all pray for me because the single life, this ain't hard, boy. This ain't hard. You know what I'm saying? Now, single people, how many of you all honestly, truly desire to be married one day? Raise your hand. Cool, hands down. Single people, can I just speak to you real quick and be real? I'm gonna be real with you, all right? And I can say this because I get to go home. So you may not like me after I say this, but I love you, and I'll be on the plane tomorrow morning. Let's not go to let's not get married. Let's not go to our wedding, to our marriage, and bring a bunch of baggage in there that we could have fixed when we were single. It's just us. If you have kids, I get it. I want to respect that. But if you don't have any kids, you don't have any major responsibilities other than yourself, and you're coming to the table with all this baggage that you could have got rid of, you was not being a good steward of your single season. Let me remix that. We would not be a good steward of our single season. I'm working on myself. So when I meet my wife as a single man, I'm going to come to the table with some baggage. I'm human, but there's some baggage that I could have threw out a long time ago. But I was lazy, I was trying to be impressive, and I didn't care. Let's steward this season correctly. And I'm saying we, because I'm with you. Your spouse shouldn't have to carry some of the baggage. That weight should not be your spouse's responsibility if you just would have took care of it when you had the opportunity to take care of it by yourself. When I get to my wife, I'm going to tell her, I knew you were coming. I was thinking about you way before I met you. And I was working on me because I want to make sure when we got married, we can enjoy the few years. Because I know in 10 years from now, you're going to get on my last nerves. But I wanted to make sure at least the first few years, we didn't have any last nerve days. We were traveling around the world and making babies. I want to do that. I want it to be peaceful. I don't want to argue about money. I don't want us to be stressing about how are we going to do this. I don't want that. And so while I'm single, I'm working on my money. I'm working on my character. I'm working on my integrity. I'm learning how to be a better man. I'm using this season and stewarding this season right. So when God blesses me with her, she can tell that she is the fruit of the labor of my single season. And your husband is the fruit of the labor of your single season, because both of y'all, it will be evident that you were working hard. If you don't like me, I love you. But I guarantee you, if you ask a married person, they will tell you, baby, steward this season right. Because marriage brings a whole nother level of conversations and a whole nother level of responsibilities. The last thing you want to be doing is arguing about money. The last thing you want to be doing is arguing about thoughts about money. So, I'm done. But I want to help you. And I want to encourage you. And I'm begging you. I don't make any money off of you doing Financial Peace University. The church ain't making no money neither. Financial Peace University costs $129. They bought it for that price and giving it to y'all for $49. That means they're paying 60% of your bill. it'll be wise for you to take advantage of it. It'll be wise for you to come back and learn how to build true and lasting wealth. Ladies, go get the bag. And if a man is intimidated because you bring the bag, he ain't your man. Brothers, go get the bag. Ain't no woman gonna be intimidated by you. They're gonna be thanking you. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for us learning how to be good stewards of our finances, God. God, this is the generation that I believe that we're the future. We're the future pastors. We're the future doctors. We're the future lawyers. We are the future presidents. We are the future congressmen. We are the future of this planet. We are the future of the kingdom. And so, God, I'm asking that you convict all of us in this room and show us where can we get better at? How can we get better? What needs to be inside of our vision? Because we understand if we aim at nothing, we will hit that every single time. So, God, show us. Where do you want us to go? What's our assignment? How do we do that? And how does finances play a role in that? God, I believe some people in here deserve pay raises. Some people deserve job promotions. Some people deserve their own business, God. Show them how to get it. Show them, God, what they need to be doing to be better stewards. Show us what we need to be doing. Challenge us in the areas of what we need to be doing. So, God, I thank you for the opportunity to spend time with this amazing church, this amazing group of people. Be with us as we go our separate ways, as we go home. God, I love you. And God, I love this church. Black Rock Church is one of the dopest churches I've been at. Continue to bless this church so they can be a blessing to this community. And bless each and every single one of us in this building. In the name of Jesus Christ, we all pray and we all say, amen. Black Rock, I love y'all.